What is up, guys? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day, by the way. I got y'all an update on this incredible cold front about to work through parts of the Midwest and the Front Range and the Rockies and things like that. Colorado and Wyoming, we're going to be talking about y'all a lot, especially Colorado, because how much of a crazy change is going to occur there, going from the 90s today in lots of the state to a full-blown snowstorm tomorrow. It's just incredible stuff to see, and I'm as a weather enthusiast, I love stuff like this. It's just crazy to think about. But before we really get going deep into this video, I ask that y'all do subscribe. I'm trying to really grow in this platform here and make these videos a lot better here in the near future. And y'all subscribing just helps me to reach my goals and to make these videos better for you guys. So if y'all haven't subscribed and y'all watch my videos, or if you're a new watcher, please hit that subscribe button. Would mean a ton here. So as you've been seeing, this is a simulation of the NAM of the cold front moving through Colorado. But we're going to start getting into this video here. We're going to focus on Wyoming here at first. And check it out. This is Monday today. Temperature soaring into the 60s, even in the high terrain of which is most of Wyoming, but more of the flat plateau regions. The temperatures will be soaring even today before the cold front, which is going to arrive and move through Wyoming, obviously earlier in the day today than Colorado, it being more north. But check it out, as you just saw, the whole entire state goes into a tundra state. It just goes into Arctic. Definitely not Arctic compared to how cold it can get here, but for early September, absolutely. It is going to go from pretty warm, especially in the southern parts of the state where it has a chance to warm up today before the cold front moves through, to just freezing in a 12-hour period, literally freezing. So it's just incredible to think about. But places like this are used to this kind of weather. Not this early in the year. This is what's really incredible about this is, I mean, this is happening on Labor Day. We hadn't even, like I've said in the last video, this happens in October, November, and December and things like this a lot, and in the springtime, but not this early in the year. So it's just really crazy and very interesting to me. I would love to experience something like this, but check it out. I've been blabbering too much, but you start to get later in the week, Wednesday and things like that, and the state is still just frozen. I mean, it stays pretty cold. It does warm up eventually later in the week, but we won't go that too far out. Next thing I want to show is basically the same time frame, but the moisture associated with this Arctic front, because you check it out here, we start to get into late evening here tonight, and the moisture associated with the front starts to move in, and it's in the form of maybe some rain at first for parts of the southern part of the state, but then it just kind of goes into an all-out snowstorm. So how much snow is going to accumulate? We're going to get more into that later in the video, so keep watching, and I'm going to get into the good stuff. You know, tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, it's an all-out snowstorm. It's some heavy snow, especially for areas like Cheyenne and things like that. You know, it's just an all-out snowstorm in areas that were in the 80s 24 hours before. So it looks like it lasts through much of the day. Lingering snow showers, I'm sure, will still be around. How much snow? Big question mark, especially in the southern parts of the state, as I mentioned before, because, you know, how warm does it get? And how much does that limit accumulation? But snow showers linger even into the overnight hours of Tuesday into Wednesday. So there's still some lingering there. But as you can tell, it starts to move into Colorado. And we'll talk about that too, for you guys out there in Colorado watching. So this is the European right now. And I'm going to show other models too later in the video. But check it out later today in Denver. It is going to be hot, not as hot as the last few days, but it is going to rise into the 90s places in Denver and that front range and the foothills, especially eastern parts of the state, where there's not super high terrain and mountains, its temperatures are going to soar into the 90s, maybe even push 100 again in parts of southeastern Colorado before this front moves through. If you look in the far upper part of the image, you start to see the cooler temps, and here they come. For Denver, I really think this front maybe moves through anywhere between 8 to 11 p.m. tonight. Temperatures will probably plummet 25 to 30 degrees in a 3-hour period. You guys who live out there know about this and know that this is not super uncommon at all. But by tomorrow morning, most places are in the upper 30s to potentially below freezing, especially if it's snowing really hard. And we'll show that here in a second. But look at the front continuing to move through. By later in the day tomorrow, most of the state will be frozen. And places like Denver and things like that, where it's snowing probably pretty heavily, below freezing. It's crazy. This is going to be record-breaking highs. Yesterday, I don't know if they'll break any records today. Potentially parts of the state certainly could. But to record-breaking low temperatures in the upper 20s, maybe mid-20s. But the European keeps the state mostly cold for the duration of the week. It actually keeps it more cold than, say, if you open up your Weather Channel app and look at it. It shows it warm into the 50s and 60s, but the European wants to keep it cold. Wednesday, now obviously with the high sun angle and just warmer temps, the snow that does fall is going to melt quickly. That's something I'm sure about, but it still shows it some chilly nights and just cold temperatures through late week. So next thing I want to show here is the moisture with it for Colorado, as was same thing we showed for Wyoming. Later in the day, it's probably going to be beautiful skies. The winds are really going to start to pick up and just be screaming from the north as the front approaches. But and no moisture really until later tonight. And here it comes. It's starting to work into the state. It'll probably start in the form of definitely rain for parts of Denver and things like that. And just the entire, eastern part of the state will be rain, maybe even some thunder showers, some thunderstorms, rumble of thunder. And that's not, like I said before, that's not all that uncommon. They go from storms to snow in 24 hours sometimes. So it's crazy, but not super, super uncommon. These, what we call these blue northers out there, just the dynamic changes. But I tell you what, by tomorrow morning, it's an all-out snowstorm, and it's really getting going. And how hard is it snowing? We're not sure. But I tell you what, the harder it is snowing in Denver, the more that accumulates, obviously. But it has to really break them warm ground temperatures. They are going to warm even more today because it's going to be getting to the 90s. But I tell you what, I can speak in experience here in South Carolina. I saw something a few years ago where very warm temperatures a couple days before a record-breaking early snowfall, and it didn't matter. If it's snowing hard enough, it will stick in places like Denver. Absolutely, I think that the city could push 5-6 inches of snow. I think it'll melt quickly, very quickly. Very, very quickly, but while it's snowing, it can add up pretty fast. I think it'll take a long time to start to stick, but heavy snowfall rates can overcome all of that. So, we start to get later in the week, the moisture's gone. Here's a more broader view of the system, the moisture associated with the system. That heavy snow starts to move into Wyoming. Just more of a broader view of where the front is, where the moisture associated with the front is. And I tell you what, there's a lot of models showing heavier snow even in eastern parts. So I showed the European. It's the more conservative model as far as not showing all that crazy snow in the parts of like freaking Kansas and Oklahoma and the panhandle of Texas. It looks more realistic to me, but crazy things can happen. and I will not be super surprised if snow makes it all the way into far western parts of Kansas and stuff like that. But I do think the majority of the state of Colorado and Wyoming will definitely see snow. And it's just incredible. You know, if this was happening a month later from today, I don't think I would be near as surprised at all. But it just being in early September, I mean, it's just basically still summer out there. It's just incredible. But here's a picture of the NAM. This is going to move in 2-hour intervals. So I thought this was cool because it doesn't do 6-hour intervals like the main operational model. But here we go. This is approximately probably, I would say, 8 p.m. Denver's time. So, and this is 10 p.m. You see the huge cutoff in temperatures moving in. You'll definitely be able to tell the crazy differences in the eastern part of the state where there isn't high mountaintops and things like that. But you'll feel it in Denver, and y'all have dealt with this before. You'll feel it. It'll probably be a drastic, quick 10-degree drop, and then it'll not slowly, but pretty consistently just drop a few degrees, probably every 10-15 minutes for a few hours until it consistently slowly drops, and whatever moisture is falling it begins to shift to snow. But this is 4 a.m. By 4 a.m. Denver, you're probably in the 30s, and it's starting to turn into snow. Whatever rain's falling, starting to go to snow. So it's, you know, you'll go from the 80s to the 30s in a matter of hours. You know, so it's going to be an incredible early season event, as mentioned before. So I think Denver, you know, and you guys have been hearing about this probably for a week now, so I don't think it's going to shock anybody out there. But I tell you what, as I mentioned before, I would love to experience something like this. But I want to show you this too. This is Oklahoma, the kind of the northern peninsula, the panhandle of Texas, and the Oklahoma area, if you will, whatever y'all call it out there. But this is for tomorrow as the front sags southeast. Check out the temperatures that soar ahead of the front, soaring to close to 90 degrees. But check out what the front is. You can tell what the front is. Amarillo, you're in the 40s and things for highs, but just southeast of you is in the 90s. So truly incredible to see this early in the season. And goodness, I mean, look at that gradient, that temperature gradient. 30 miles, you're in the 50s and 40s. Southeastern, you're 90 degrees. But check it out. This is probably what most people want to see. This is a snowfall. This is the European. It's given the city, what is that? Close to, you know, the suburbs, close to over a half a foot of snow. Even in the Denver area. And, you know, it doesn't extend it as far as east as these other models coming up, but this is the GFS. The GFS goes bonkers for areas east of the Rocky Mountains in Denver. You know, over a foot of snow. This is not going to happen. I really don't think it is. But you can tell where Denver is and kind of like the heat island, if you will, of the city, which may be a factor being so hot 24 hours prior. But this is the NAM. Similar thing, over a foot of snow outside the city. Every model shows over 6 inches of snow for Denver. But I do think the heat prior to this event will tamper down the totals. This is the National Weather Service, even going with 3 to 5, 6 inches of snow. Haven't looked at their exact forecast for the National Weather Service, but still going with a good bit of snow. So incredible early season cold front and snowstorm about to occur on the Rocky Mountains. And I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and enjoy this crazy event if you're into this kind of stuff. And more importantly, you'll have an awesome and blessed Labor Day.